Racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication. Oh my God, I love people that work in marketing.
Yeah, she said something pretty bad, but I mean, it's not as if people on the left are innocent of doing that as well.
So today we're going to show you a series of tweets that stirred up some controversy.
Well, Twitter is always fun.
As soon as we reacted to Roseanne Barr's new show, or old show technically, I was like, well, something's gonna happen to make it worse.
Oh no, Roseanne. Oh, that's so ugly to even read out loud. Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. Oh.
I saw this yesterday on the news. They were talking about it on the news that she got fired and the show was canceled.
It's okay to make jokes about somebody's politics. I mean, that happens all the time. It was more about her race. And I think that is way out of line.
She's always had crazy ass, super, just crazy tweets in general, especially when it comes to politics. This isn't a reply that I'm surprised by.
So in this tweet, Roseanne Barr, the star of ABC comedy Roseanne, was responding to a comment about Valerie Jarrett, who is black and a former aide to President Obama, and compared her looks to an ape, while also alleging a connection between Jarrett and the Islamist organization known as the Muslim Brotherhood.
I mean, I've heard that Roseanne's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Immediately, social media lit up with criticism, some calling her racist, and others demanding ABC to step in and respond. Roseanne did try to apologize by releasing her own statements, and here is one of them.
I apologize to Valerie Jarrett and all Americans. Okay, that's so f***ing general.
I should have known better. Forgive me, my joke was in bad taste. I feel like that's most of her jokes.
Good. She could have said I f***ed up too. She could have added that also.
The same people who were happy that Roseanne was fired are pissed off that Kaepernick is, I mean, even if nobody wants to hire him because of what he did, that's totally fine, because the NFL is a private organization, just the same as ABC. Now, the First Amendment says that the government can't infringe on your free speech rights, and the government's not involved in any of these cases.
In this situation, if she's sorry, it's just sorry. She's just sorry because she's getting in trouble. I was kind of surprised because I'm like, wow, you have this show that's so, there's not a lot of shows like yours. Why would you jeopardize that and say something stupid like this?
ABC President Channing Dungey released a statement on their decision regarding the show. The statement is combined, as you'll see in this next tweet, by Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, who owns ABC.
From Channing Dungey, president of ABC Entertainment, Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values.
And we have decided to cancel her show. There was only one thing to do here, and that was the right thing. Yeah, that's fair.
There's only one thing, and that was the right thing. I like that.
Honestly, with the whole cancellation thing, when you're talking about ABC stepping in, I think ABC was just looking for an excuse to cancel it in the first place.
Like mentioned earlier, Roseanne's initial tweet caused a social media frenzy, with several people sharing their opposing viewpoints on both the statements and subsequent cancellation. Some of her co-stars chimed in, so we have one example here.
Roseanne's recent comments about Valerie Jarrett and so much more are abhorrent and do not reflect the beliefs of our cast and crew or anyone associated with our show. I am disappointed in her actions, to say the least. Yeah, I'm so curious what Sarah Gilbert thinks about Roseanne as a person, because she's known her since she was a child.
That stinks for her and all the other people who just got their big break on this show, and now that the whole thing is just gone to dirt.
Some celebrities chimed in on this too, so here are some examples.
Okay. This wasn't censorship, this was business. She hasn't been prosecuted, she hasn't been silenced.
She can carry on saying what she wants, it's just that her employers have decided they don't want to employ her anymore. This is freedom. Absolutely.
It's not even related to her political views, really. It's just the fact that she made racial comments. Everyone has political views, and that's not what this is about.
I agree, but again, the same thing has to apply to cases that people on the left might not agree with. So I just like to see some more consistency from people on the left on issues like this.
What Roseanne said was wrong. I'm sure she knows that she made a mistake.
I don't know why fellow conservatives are playing mental gymnastics trying to justify it. Come on. Wrong is wrong.
I don't know if she knows that, just for the record. Also, it's weird agreeing with Tommy Lauren.
You know it's bad when Tommy Lauren is even saying that you were wrong.
That's from Tommy Lauren, who, of course, a lot of people on the left like to vilify. Not all conservatives are racist. That's the caricature that people on the left try to paint.
Charlie Kirk.
Wait, Bill Maher makes comparisons to Trump being a gorilla all the time.
They get classified as jokes by the media, and he's, of course, allowed to keep his show and not have his life ruined.
The difference, Bill Maher is a liberal, Roseanne is a free-thinking Trump supporter. Yeah, whatever.
I can see where he's coming from. Some of the liberal thinking gets away with a lot of shit.
White people aren't called gorillas out of like a racist sort of statement. It doesn't have the same impact when you're calling a white guy a gorilla versus a black man.
Oh, Donald Trump's was my favorite. It always comes back around to him.
Bob Iger of ABC called Valerie Jarrett to let her know that ABC does not tolerate comments like those made by Roseanne Barr.
Gee, he never called President Donald J. Trump to apologize for the horrible statements made and said about me on ABC. Maybe I just didn't get the call. People should treat him better, but at the end of the day, he's the most powerful man in the free world. Why does he care what some people say about him?
The fact that the president of the United States will get on Twitter and tweet is like a joke. Donald Trump is like a teenager.
This is like blowing my mind because at first I thought one thing and now reading these I'm thinking another thing because it's just hard. There's a total double standard going on. People say tons of terrible things to so many people and then she's getting her show taken away.
It's actually pretty awesome of him to call them out on that. It's absolutely disgusting, some of the things that people have been saying about conservatives, especially affiliated with the Trump administration.
Valerie Jarrett, who was the subject of the tweet that started this, responded to all of this on MSNBC. We have some of those comments to show you next.
Oh, fun stuff.
Well, first of all, I think we have to turn it into a teaching moment. I'm fine. I'm worried about all the people out there who don't have a circle of friends and followers who come right to their defense.
Yeah, I saw this.
Down the street, minding their own business, and they see somebody cling to their purse or want to cross the street. Or every black parent I know who has a boy who has to sit down and have a conversation, the talk, as we call it. And
She's taking this with complete grace.
Ordinary examples of racism that happen every single day.
I really like the way she handled that.
She's taken the whole situation and turned it into a learning experience for everybody. This is the type of shit we have to tell our kids about to prepare them for, which is f***ing true, because I've had this pretty similar talk on myself from my parents. This is the type of basic daily racism that affects all of us.
So later that night, Roseanne ended up going back on Twitter after she said she was leaving Twitter and released a flurry of tweets apologizing for and also defending her actions.
No.
I'm sorry for my tweet, and I'll also defend myself as well as talk to my followers.
So, go away if you don't like it.
I'll handle my sadness the way I want to. I'm tired of being attacked and belittled more than other comedians who have said worse. Have they?
It's not really fair that she's having her show taken away, but like she should have known better.
At least that last part is for sure fair. It just keeps coming back to the double standards. Yeah, she said something pretty bad, but I mean, it's not as if people on the left are innocent of doing that as well, and there seem to be no consequences for them.
Guys, I did something unforgivable, so do not defend me. It was 2 in the morning and I was ambient tweeting. It was Memorial Day too. I went too far. And what does that have to do with it was Memorial Day? Was she like drunk or something?
It was egregious and indefensible. I made a mistake. I wish I hadn't, but don't defend it, please. TY, thank you. So, you want to defend it or you don't? Like, you're digging yourself into a deeper hole.
I shouldn't be empathetic towards this other person, but like, I'm also like trying to find the human within her.
And last one of the companies that makes those pills, Ambien, tweeted this.
People of all races, religions, and nationalities work at Sanofi every day to improve the lives of people around the world. Will all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects? Racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication. Oh my God, I love people that work in marketing.
That is amazing. Of course it's not the medicine. Don't try to fake it like that.
Even if like you were like super drunk and that made you lose control, I still think like when you're that intoxicated, you're not, what you're really exposing is like you're unconscious. You're not actually saying things that you wouldn't say otherwise.
She did try to use it as like a little bit of justification kind of thing where it's like, guys, like, I was taking medication. I get it though, because it's like anytime your name is brought up in any sort of controversy, you want to make sure you're not attached to that. So I mean, it was both like a joke, but also they were like, this is not a justification.
So one complaint people are talking about is the fact that according to some industry sources, at least 200 jobs will be affected by the cancellation of Roseanne's show.
That's a lot.
Do you think the actions of one cast member is worthy of the whole show being canceled and all the innocent bystanders who have been working on this should have their lives negatively impacted?
I mean, in this case, when Roseanne f***s up, and the show's called Roseanne. There's not that many options.
Kind of sucks the way this went down. Like, there was no way that a cast member who represents themselves badly should affect their cast members this much.
Of course, I don't want all these people to lose their jobs and lose their way of making money and providing for themselves and their family, but do you want to be affiliated with that person?
Kind of just makes me think of like Saturday Night Live and like Jimmy Kimmel. Like, they are so political and they make jokes, but people could be offended and you don't see their shows getting canceled. I feel bad for all the people that are gonna lose their jobs just because of one comment where other people are making comments all the time and it's okay.
Backstage, they didn't get along, they probably had issues, they probably went through things, and if it was not a nice environment for them to work at, they're happy that getting out of there.
I'm in favor of at-will employment. I don't think anyone should be employed under any circumstances if the employer doesn't want to employ them. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, it's in line with my principles.
In the entertainment industry, these people are all aware that their jobs are always gonna be temporary. Yeah, it's horrible and like, yeah, it got canceled earlier than expected because it had already been picked up for a second season, but they knew that this was a possibility.
Roseanne is no stranger to controversy, often making political charged statements on Twitter, sometimes spreading false accusations and being negative towards people. Some sources have said that ABC executives knew that some of her previous posts and comments had already been problematic, and they may have decided that the rewards on hiring Roseanne and, giving her a show outweighed the risks. Do you think that the decision to cancel the show over yet another tweet was right when she has a track record of doing things like this?
I think in this case, they just got caught.
It's a private organization. Their reason doesn't have to be justified to anybody but themselves. They're totally within their rights to do it.
I did not want Roseanne speaking for me. I think she's just hurting their conservative cause. She's making us look bad.
Being on that position, having to decide what to do when you have on your hands so many workers and so many people relying on you, but then you have all these other people that are counting on you to make the right decision. Whatever decision you take, it's not gonna necessarily change the essence of the person.
I don't think they should have done the show in the first place. It's because they're saying it would make them more money than it would lose them. Was it worth it to cause this controversy and then have to drop and force people to lose jobs?
You have to give them credit where credit is due for at least making the decision out of humanity rather than money at the end.
Another criticism is people feeling ABC is hypocritical as they took a stand in this instance, but earlier this year, another ABC sitcom, Blackish, agreed not to air an episode over creative differences that some believe stemmed from the fact that the episode touched upon the rights of athletes to kneel during the national anthem at football games.
Yes, I saw that.
It just shows me that they're a business. They care about the money. They don't care who is on whose side. They're caring about providing to everybody because everybody has money.
Many on the left were upset about this move, just as some on the right are upset about the cancellation with Roseanne. What do you think about ABC as a network making a stand here for Roseanne, but is also not willing to take on other issues such as racism and kneeling at NFL games?
Yeah, I feel like that is really interesting because kneeling at a game, if you're an athlete, that's a personal decision. And then the thing with Roseanne is like racism.
It's aired more towards the liberal leftist side. I would like to see more people in the media like me, with my beliefs.
Even though they might have made a mistake by not taking a stand on that particular issue, they've taken a stand on this particular issue, and I think they've initiated a conversation of what people expect from media.
They're trying to play to so many different demographics because these shows aren't necessarily made for one audience, they're made for the biggest audience they can possibly get. It's important at the end of the day to kind of allow as much freedom as possible for speech because it is all about free speech.
So finally, after hearing about all of this, what do you hope or think the general public, celebrities, and TV networks as a whole will learn from all of this, if anything?
Well, I think the big takeaway is that conservatives are willing to call out bad behavior on their own side. We need to also see some consistency from the left.
This is not going to change any of the racism issues because there's idiots out there who still think that, and that's a way deeper issue that we have to tackle.
Instead of dwelling on mistakes, I think it's more important to move forward and better ourselves as a society and try to make things better for everyone.
I really just hope that we get into a better moral place where we're not just looking at things from a business standpoint, okay, this race is gonna make us a lot of money, so we need them on the show, and instead just we need people who are gonna best represent us.
It's always just gonna be humanity over money. And I think there are gonna be so many decisions that are always gonna be fueled by money because that's what these companies run on. But at the end of the day, if there's just one moment where they can just sit down and look at it and be like, money or human, just always go with the humans.